What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing well. How to Win Friends and Influence People. Dale Carnegie. This is a staple, should be a staple in your book collection, and you should have read this. An absolutely amazing book, and it will provide you with the information you need that you can use in day-to-day life to help succeed with your relationships, with your family, friends, strangers. This can be applicable to day-to-day life. And you're missing out every day that passes by that you haven't read this book. Today we're going to talk about one of the fundamental techniques in handling people that Dale Carnegie discusses in this book. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Okay, guys, let me break it down. Nobody criticizes themselves, no matter how wrong they may be. I know you know somebody like this. Somebody in your life who is too stubborn to ever admit that they're wrong. They'll never do it, even though it is an obvious thing. They are wrong. And no matter how much you try to criticize them and tell them, they won't ever admit their own wrongdoing. They won't criticize themselves. Not out loud to other people, because they don't want to take that hit to their ego. Alright, and that's all criticism is. It's a hit to other people's ego. It's dangerous. It wounds their pride. It hurts their sense of self-importance. And it will arouse resentment from other people when you criticize them. Most importantly, nothing will change. You can criticize them all they want, but if they don't realize it genuinely, you're not doing any good, and nothing will change. They'll be put on the defensive. They'll feel the need to justify themselves, and they'll come back and condemn you. During the Civil War, Lincoln said this quote. Now, a lot of his generals, at points in the war, let him down. Let the entire country down, the entire Union, at points in the war. And the American citizens went after them and started to criticize those generals. You know what Lincoln said? Don't criticize them. They are just what we would be under similar circumstances. They are just what we would be under similar circumstances. You have to realize this is true in life, in everyday life, with the people that you talk to and encounter and criticize, feel the need to criticize. You need to realize that you would be just like them if you had experienced everything in life they have up to that point, and you are in the circumstances that they are in now. You would act just the same way. Okay? And guys, listen. Let me tell you what will be much more beneficial to you. Rather than criticizing other people because you see flaws in them, take that energy, that same energy, and turn it back on yourself. And focus on yourself and better yourself. Don't complain about the snow on your neighbor's roof when your own doorstep is unclean. By Confucius. Listen, guys. You're not going to change them. Let's be selfish with our time and our energy and use that on ourselves. It's more valuable. That time will be better spent on ourselves than criticizing other people. Okay, you have to realize that humans are not creatures of logic. We are creatures of emotion. We act out of emotion We don't want to feel hurt because we're wrong, even though logic tells us we're wrong. You may be able to think logically, but the person you're criticizing may be thinking through their emotions in that moment, and they're not going to admit it. And you won't get them to admit it. Any fool can criticize, and most do. But it takes self-control and character to forgive and to understand. Rise above, guys. Be on another level. Show that character. Show that character. A great man shows his greatness by the way he treats little men. Be a great man. Do not criticize other people. Okay? Someone that you might get into arguments about, or with rather, are your parents, your siblings, your children, teachers. These are people where there's an age gap. Times were not always the same. Like I've said before, people do not have the same experiences. If you were in their shoes, you would be acting in a very similar way. Once you realize this, and now listen, this is a very mature idea to internalize, okay? If you were in their situation, under their circumstances, you would act in a similar way. Don't measure by the yardstick of your own years. You have to realize that it's different. That's why they act different, because what they've experienced is not the same. And it shaped them to believe and think and act in that way, different than your own. Instead, try to understand. This will be much more rewarding to you. You'll feel better about yourself instead of going off on somebody and criticizing them for what they've done wrong. Try to understand. How would you want someone to act towards you if you had made that mistake? This will breed sympathy. It will breed tolerance, and it will breed kindness. This is how you're going to build up your relationships with other people. Nobody likes to be around the person who's always speaking negative. Even if it's not directly towards the person you're speaking to at the moment. If you are criticizing somebody else who's not there, you know what they're going to think about you? What is this person saying about me when I'm not here? Okay? Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. To know all is to forgive all. To know all is to forgive all. Forgive other people for their mistakes. And realize you're helping yourself by building these relationships with other people. Because you never know when you'll need to come back and ask these people for help. And in fact, you might not even have to ask them for help if you treat them in this way. They'll want to help you. Because you lend out a hand to them. You help sympathize with them and understand them, rather than attacking them, hurting their self-importance, their pride. Guys, try to understand other people. To know all is to forgive all.